And thanks for clicking on Wayne.com for this week's edition of Inside the Zone. It is week 9, and you'll notice we've gotten a little more handsome in the new Sentinel seat. Justin Kinney out, Hall of Famer Reggie Hayes in. Reggie, appreciate you joining us this week.
Justin will think I paid you to say that.
He didn't have to. He didn't have to. Him showing up was enough payment as it was. Speaking of showing up, Adams Central and Woodlan have showed up all season long. We talked at the beginning of the season with Justin about how, a lot of the ACAC would come down to week 9. It has for the last 2 or 3 seasons. And how do you see this one playing out? Because it is for the conference championship on Friday night down in gorgeous Monroe.
Man, you've got 2 years in a row where it's been Woodlan winning that game, and Adams Central, of course, the heartbreak 2 years ago when the controversial, was he in or was he not in?
The goal line stand.
And Adams Central is, to me, they've been keying up for this game and building. It looks to me like they're really building momentum towards what they want to do on the field defensively, and they're going to have an outstanding defensive game to deal with Woodlan. Woodlan has that loss this year. I think that takes some of the pressure off Woodlan, but that's more postseason than this game. And I really think that Adams Central has a great shot at this.
When you take a look at Woodlan, though, they are coming off a nice win against the South Adams last week, 25-3, in which the defense played really well against an offense that had been humming a little bit. If you're Woodlan, are you psyched to play this game from the fact that you have now got some good games leading up to the postseason? I mean, their schedule wasn't real strong at the beginning, but now they're playing Lima Central Catholic 2 weeks ago, a solid South Adams team last week, and then Adams Central to close out the regular season.
Yeah, I think if you're Woodlan, you've got to really love this situation because so much of what has happened in the postseason the last 2 years with Woodlan, I think, is a result of they didn't get the same competition during the regular season. Now you finish strong with really 3 really hard games in a row, so I think that puts Woodlan in a position where they will be prepared for the postseason, which is all that matters at Woodlan right now. Yes, they want the ACAC championship, but they want to go deeper than they've been in the postseason.
One of the things that really sticks out to me is Adams Central's running game. They've got kind of the thunder and lightning, Logan Macklin, and then the big guy, Drew Schultz. They've got about 2,500 yards rushing as a team this season and have limited opponents to about 900. So they're like 2.5 times every Friday in terms of rushing yards their opponent.
Makes for quick games on Friday.
It does, and it's Woodlan is kind of the same way because they'll score in 70-yard passes, 40-yard runs. I mean, they make it happen too. But Woodlan's defense has only given up 10.1 points per game. How do you see that Adams Central running game facing off with that Woodlan defense that's been stout all season long?
Well, I think you've got to have great first and second downs. I mean, that's the key for Adams Central offensively, because if they get bottled up on those first and second downs, that really plays into Woodlan's defensive hand, I think.
And Adams Central, they got Parker Bates at quarterback. They haven't really had that running threat, but that passing threat necessarily in years past. They've thrown it when they had to, but his numbers, although they don't throw it a lot, are pretty good. Does having an added dimension give them a little bit of a leg up as opposed to some of the games maybe in years past? Because he's thrown at about a 56% clip, 9 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. They can throw it a little bit if they have to.
You know what I'd be interested to see is what it's like this week as they prepare for this game. Are there additional wrinkles in the passing game from Adams Central that we haven't seen? Because I do think that Bates has a capability of doing that. Okay, they haven't had to necessarily, and I really feel like this is the game where maybe there's something a little extra that Woodlan hasn't seen, because you play each other so many times year after year after year. You've got to have a little something that you've held back for Friday night when you're at the biggest point.
Final question for me on this game. Adams Central's defense has been solid this year, but Justin Durkis is, in his 3rd year as a starting quarterback. He's a great decision maker. Jack Rhodes just became Woodlan's all-time leading rusher. Right. You've got Hicks, you've got Howard, you've got Hahn. You have a number of players on the outside that can make plays with their speed. How do you corral what Woodlan does offensively, or do you try to limit maybe say the running game or limit the passing game? Like, what's the approach to try and slow down a Woodlan team that hasn't really been slowed down a whole lot this season, to be honest? Garant, I mean, he's been running free behind defenses this year.
Don't you think that Adams Central's offense is a key to that? I mean, if they are able to
very
Belmont-esque
hold the football
if they're able to keep churning out that yardage on the ground, using clock, keeping Woodlan's offense off the field, that might be the best defense that they have.
All right, it should be a good one. That is our Highlight Zone Game of the Week, Woodlan and Adams Central for the ACAC Championship.